I mean, that's the whole thing that the writer of Hebrews is getting at in chapter 9 and 10 was Jesus came to take away our sin, as the Apostle John wrote in his first letter, and in him is no sin, whom we dwell in. That's why Paul wrote in Romans 8:10, if Christ be in you, the body is dead because of sin, but our spirit is alive because of righteousness. But people are still bent on calling themselves sinners. I mean, we've got to understand the faith because, as the writer of Hebrews said in chapter 9, verse 9, that the old covenant sacrifices and he who done the service, those sacrifices could never make him who did the service perfect in regards to conscience. And you go down to verse 13 and 14, you're talking about the blood of bulls and goats and the ashes of a heifer sprinkling the unclean sanctifies to the purification of the flesh. He says, how much more shall the blood of Christ, who through the eternal Spirit offered himself, his body, without spot of the flesh, purge your minds from dead works to serving the living God. And then he goes on in chapter 10, he goes, for the law having a shadow of good things to come, and not the very image of those things, with those sacrifices could make the comer thereunto perfect. He's talking about the conscience like he was in chapter 9, verse 9. He said, else would those sacrifices not have ceased to have been offered. He said, but in those sacrifices, there's a remembrance made again of sins every year. For it's not possible that the blood of bulls and goats should take away our sin. He's talking about the remembrance and the conscience of sin. I mean, we need to understand the faith because we enter the life of God that is in Christ Jesus, as Jesus said in John 14:6, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father but by me. And everyone's trying to get to God through a Trinity that doesn't exist. There is one God and there is one mediator between God and man, the man Jesus Christ, as Paul wrote Timothy in 1 Timothy 2:5. And as John testifies concerning Jesus' words in John 17:3, and this is life eternal, that they might know you, the one true God, and Jesus whom you sent. And in Paul, again, in Ephesians 4, there's one Lord, one faith, one baptism, one body, one Spirit, one God, even as you are called in one hope of your calling. And as he said, many are called, but few are chosen. I mean, we need to understand the faith. We enter life